friends, and welcome to Screen Vomit, the only movie podcast for normal people. I'm, of course, your host, Kayla, and today I do have a guest with me, but before I get to them, I got two little things to say. One thing is that if you like the show, you can follow me on Instagram and everywhere else at ScreenVomit, one word on all the stuff. I also have shirts available in my link tree, which is in the show notes. And the second thing is, if you listen to my last episode, you know that I've been working on a health journey, and I have a big surgery coming up next month. So I'm going to be out of work for a while after the surgery, recovering, and with medical bills and all that, I have a little GoFundMe up for a little help. So I have the link to that GoFundMe in the show notes or in my link tree in my bios on everything. If you would like to help, I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, thank you. That is what I had to say for my little business. Let me get to the guest. My guest today, very excited to have him on, is Jon Millstein. Jon is a pal, a comedic performer, a writer, an actor, a multi-hyphenate, and I think we've hung several times, but always in a group. So I think this is our first time just sitting down with each other and having a one-on-one chat. So that's kind of fun. Jon, you'll know from his amazing short films that he's in or has written on. He has done a lot of shorts with past guests of the pod, Alex Kavitsky and John Mackey, even played Alex in Alex's series, Alex Kavitsky's Guide to Filmmaking. He's also worked for Funny or Die and Clickhole. He makes all these hilarious videos for his Instagram and Twitter that are just, man, you just be watching and laughing, literally going insane, puking, crying, throwing up, how funny his work is. And you know what this ep included? Jon's one of these dudes where both conversationally and in his written work, he just be casually saying basically the funniest thing you've ever heard in your entire life, but like every 2 seconds. So just so funny. So check out his stuff, and here is the ep, okay, with Jon Millstein. What's up? Welcome to the pod.
Hey there. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. I don't think we've ever talked about your relationship with movies.
Yes.
So what's your watching style? What's your formative behavior? Tell me the scoop.
My watching style is I use Letterboxd, and I use it to find movies that my friends like. That's a pretty new development, honestly. But I'm not one of these film guys, really. I'm more of I would like to,
you're normal.
I would like to be abnormal, but for better or worse, I'm normal. And grew up in a house where my parents didn't let us have TV. So the idea of watching movies, we definitely did it, but it wasn't emphasized. And I also didn't really seek it out. I still to this day can't really watch a movie when it's light outside. It just makes me feel horrible.
Really?
So that's, pretty much. It would have to be an extremely unique set of circumstances that would lead to me doing that. Like being sick, maybe. I can't even think of others, honestly. It would really have...
So only in the darkness.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like my mom is an exercise freak. God bless her. And I think...
And now you are too.
Yeah, something like that. So that's sort of my connection to movies.
So you're too busy in the daytime getting buff, getting swole. You don't have time.
More or less. And
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But I do love movies. And one day I'll be one of these film guys like some of these other folks. And but at this moment, I'm really not.
So with that being your truth and not really being allowed to like watch movies as a kid, what made you want to get into movies then?
Well, I think...
Is that rebellion?
Something like that. I think we were really into... I really loved written humor as a child. Dave Barry, Calvin and Hobbes. And we definitely watched TV sometimes, The Simpsons. We only had one... like I said, we did have a TV. It just didn't have any cable. And... so the only channel we had there was one Fox channel we somehow got, so we got to watch The Simpsons a little bit. Yeah, I think it was a form of rebellion. I don't know. My whole family, like all my siblings, there's 4 of us. My older brother went into the biz. My little sister went into the biz. Both of them have since left it. But anyway, there must have been enough of a creative streak. My parents are pretty like sweet, so
yeah,
they weren't, the types to say you can't do X, Y, Z.
Right. But you got into acting like quite young.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, I was a child actor. I was a bit of a child actor, and thankfully was able to get my reps in on set early on. So it's really deep, and so I just snap to that whenever I step on a set again. Yeah, my siblings and I all went to theater camp, and then at some point, I started in New Hampshire auditioning for some things around town.
And what's
Boston.
the film scene like in New Hampshire? Okay.
Yeah.
You had to drive to Boston.
I was
like, I've never been to New Hampshire. I have kind of no idea what the scene is like. I've been to Connecticut, I've been to Boston, so like I've been up in that area, sort of.
Yeah, someone was just telling me that New Hampshire is a big place for musicians to move. I was at a yard sale and a guy was saying,
really?
"Oh, New Hampshire, that's cool. It's like a cool place where artists and musicians can go because they can afford to live there." But no, I didn't know too many of those folks. I mostly knew my principal and my teachers and my fellow students. So I didn't know these others. But it's nice. It's very pretty. Best hiking in New England, so I've heard.
Yeah.
I always feel good going back there. I do like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're lucky to be from a place that I think most people don't have a preconceived notion of.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people have a vague sense that it's like more conservative than other places in New England. It's not very diverse. People are aware of that, I think.
Well, yeah.
And I think, I mean, people who are from New England know it's where you can go to buy alcohol because the alcohol is cheaper there because it's all state operated. But even that I wasn't doing. Like I said, I was more doing principal teacher type
you were
activities.
Straight-laced.
Yeah.
Young scholar.
Yeah, more or less. But yeah, it's true. Yeah, I feel like people don't. I mean, people don't even think of. I don't even know what individuals you associate with New Hampshire. Although,
no idea.
Adam Sandler and Sarah Silverman are both from there. So
really,
yeah. So there's
interesting.
And it was sort of their
and
influence.
You guys grew up together,
exactly.
Same
Yeah,
age.
Yeah. I'm sort of I'm in the Happy Madison gang. You'll see me behind Adam Sandler in paparazzi photos, sort of hanging out. Yeah.
He's larger than you, so like you're kind of it's like the tree effect. You're just right behind him in frame, but like he can't see you.
He's always wearing those big. He's got those big basketball shorts on. I'm sort of disappearing behind those things, but he and I are close. But it's true. I do feel like people don't have much of a sense of it.
Like I'm from a place where I'm from Indiana, and people have a preconceived notion about what Indiana is like, and it's mostly wrong. So I kind of wish I could be from a place where nobody had any thoughts about it.
What do people think about Indiana?
They think super ultra conservative, like the worst assholes of America, like Florida level, hillbilly, dumb, farmland, like this kind of stuff, which like maybe is more true out in the country of Indiana. But like I live in Indianapolis, which people have no conceived notion of like what Indianapolis is like. Like it's 1 million population, like it's a pretty big city. Yeah. And it's not like the most liberal, but it's like pretty much.
I feel like I mean, Indiana is the Midwest, right? But kind of barely. Yeah. It's like it's more of the east of Midwest. Was that true or no? I couldn't even point it out on a map.
To me, it feels solidly Midwest. It's about 3 hours from Chicago.
Okay, got it. Yeah. No, I feel like I would have a New Hampshire type reaction to Indiana, of being like, what is that?
Nothing.
I do have one good friend from there, and he went to Notre Dame, which is in Indiana, right? Or is that Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually, speaking of Notre Dame, I did visit that place for a shoot back in the day at Funny or Die. It was really fun.
Yeah.
And what I took from it was they love football there. And it was kind of interesting. Like, we went to a steakhouse and the waitress there was like, "Oh yeah, our team is doing really good." I'm like, "You don't go to school, lady. It's not your team." But they all take pride in the private university.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about Indiana. It's really interesting. I feel like that's uncommon.
Yeah, and where Notre Dame is Northwest Indiana, which is kind of its own like regional thing. Like, it has its own regional identity.
I see.
They call it the region.
Oh, the region. sounds like something Morpheus would say, or Neo. I don't know.
It's like it's closer to Chicago, so it has like a lot of people that live up that way work in Chicago, so they like go to Chicago every day for work and then come back to northern Indiana just because it's cheaper to live there. So I don't know, it kind of gets its own like weird identity from that. Yeah,
I think your state's awesome. I think the region's awesome. If I could pick my top place to live in the U.S., it would be the region.
Really?
That's how I feel.
You're lying as hell.
Yeah.
I'm about to move to LA though.
Oh, is that for real?
Yeah, for real.
Hell yeah. Do you know where?
I have no idea. Probably next summer I'll move.
Nice.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Has it been addressed on
It hasn't been broken on the pod, I guess. No.
The listeners are clamoring to help you find an apartment, which will be very difficult because it's not easy. No.
You think so? You think it's not easy?
No, it'll be fine. I mean, it just sucks. It's like anywhere else, but
yeah.
I found mine on Nextdoor. So
really?
Don't be afraid to look in an unconventional place is what I'm saying, because I don't think this place would...
That seems so random.
Yeah. I think because of that, it was like a lower rent than anywhere else. And it's kind of, it doesn't look like other apartments. Like most apartments, your average starter type apartment that a regular human being can afford to live in LA is like, they all have this kitchen with a L-shaped counter next to the living room, and you can peek into the living room from the kitchen. It's all the same square ass layout and no hallways,
no character,
and it's got these gray linoleum floors, or not linoleum, but like fake wood, or if it's not gray, it's some other color, and
it's emotionally gray.
Yeah, and so like my advice is like, don't live in one of those places. Like, live somewhere else. but no, I do feel like you gotta. It's quite a. It has to become your job for a second, looking for an apartment, just because.
Really?
Because they pop up and then they go away, and I had so many funny experiences.
I was seeing things saying like just like literally walk around and find street signs, like yard signs or whatever, because people rent them so fast that like.
Yeah, I've heard that. I have heard that.
I don't know anything. I was going to move to New York though first, and so LA seems a lot easier in terms of housing.
I think
than New York.
That's true. I think that is true.
Yeah. So it can't be quite as bad.
Yeah. I think you're doing it right.
I'm doing it right. I'm coming to LA. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
I have more friends.
Yeah. Do you think you'll get a car?
Well, I think I have a car right now.
Nice.
I don't ever drive it, but I have one. But it's kind of a beater, so I think I'll have to get a new one to live there.
I experienced that in LA, of having a car that was great, drove fine, but it wouldn't pass the smog test, so I had to donate it.
Mine definitely wouldn't pass. The check engine light has been on since I've bought it.
I know, it's sick. These cars are like, my car, I love that car. I would still be driving it today. Beautiful Honda Accord. It was my dad's, so it had leather seats because it was, a little nicer than a car that I would buy for myself. It was and it's probably puttering around, Cuba right now, because that's where they send these things after you donate them, and it's just not fair. I wish I still had it. I have a different Honda, and it doesn't have the memories. When they came to pick up my Honda,
you cry.
I was pretty the guys were coming to pick it up on a tow truck, sort of men of the people, and I wanted to look cool, but you
wanted to impress them.
Yeah, but it was also the only car I'd ever had, and they were about to load it onto the tow truck, and I brought out my selfie stick to take a picture of me with the car before it went away. And I went to take the picture, and the guy was like,
and you have a large selfie stick.
Yes. Yeah. Which I
Pro
love.
version.
Yeah. And the guy was like, I think he's like, I didn't know people actually had those. I'm like, bro.
Oh no.
Trying to have a moment with my car before it goes to South America. Just
Did you get the pic though?
I think so, but I think it's really bad. And I kind of do wish I had taken a picture.
Because you were embarrassed in
it. I do feel like it's like, I probably don't have a picture with that car. It would have been nice to have a picture just me and my old white Honda, but
you have it framed in your apartment.
Yeah. With all my other pictures of myself that I have. I do have a couple pictures.
I have some.
Yeah, I have a couple selfies, self pictures.
I think it's something that people our age don't really do anymore. Our age or younger. Have pictures of yourself around the house.
Yeah, I have a bunch
or your family or whatever.
I have a little gallery wall of my family. Yeah, and I do love it. But I agree. I feel like you go to someone cool person's apartment, they don't have that. They have other cool stuff.
I have to like really intentionally think about putting pictures of me and my friends around my house.
Yeah. You gotta.
It's such a thing to even like print them these days.
I know. I found a service. I ordered some from Amazon. They turned out okay, but then I ordered some from, I forget the company that did a really good job. It was like Flickr or something. It was so much better than the Amazon ones. And this is just the type of stuff that Bezos is getting away with. He's beating out the little guy like Flickr. It's just not fair.
Flickr, famously small, tiny, locally owned business.
One apartment that is worth taking a look at is Mr. Friend of the show, Alex Kavutski's. His apartment is like, the pictures he has on the walls, it's chaos. It's pure.
I've seen a lot of it just in his movies.
Yeah, it's beautiful because it's all very tied to memory and like cool stuff he's done. But it is he's got a good version of like pictures of friends. It's like all posters and stuff from all the shows.
From his stuff, yeah.
Yep. That's going to be me someday. I just got to get a few more achievements under my belt. I can be like Alex.
You probably, I don't know. I feel like you might have more achievements.
Okay, that's fact. Let's log that. I'm gonna send Alex to this part of the podcast.
No, I'm gonna have to cut it out.
Yeah, Alex.
I think he listens sometimes.
He'll listen to this, and we'll just let the record show because I didn't say anything except for I was self-deprecating, but anyway, and that was all part of.
Do you have like a number of how many videos you've made? Videos, shorts?
Not really, because I feel like. No. I mean, here's the thing: if you're trying to compete on the level of volume, you're gonna fail unless you're a psychopath. Because these people who do it are like they have no shame, basically, so they can just kind of like crank them out. And so if you're trying to win the numbers game, you're going to fail. Like, I mean, and I say that, I mean, there's a few exceptions of people who like can do 2023 style internet comedy at volume and each one is good. Obviously there's some people who are really, really funny, but here's the thing between you and Alex, if we're comparing y'all two's careers. And please. No, we have different paths.
You've taken different paths,
but
you both have made or been a part of making many things.
Yeah. And
so that's why I say, do you have the numbers?
We inspire each other. Yeah, we do. And if you listen to the earlier part where you kind of compared, you said like I was like sort of like above him. Like I hope he gets to this part where it's like we inspire each other because like. And for the listeners who don't know, his name's Alex Kavutski, and you can just kind of like commit it to memory. That like if you put a head-to-head of like Alex versus Jon, just like commit that to memory. Where I mean I forget, I'm not gonna say where Kayla said they ended up, where ScreenVomit said they ended up, but just go back and listen, and they only said it once, and we don't need to dwell on it, but Alex and the listeners should take note.
I don't know, maybe it's even.
Okay, it's even. All right, I'm gonna say even.
It's even.
No, yeah. No, we're not competing. We're pals. There's no.
You're not competing. You're besties.
No, there's just,
you're cute besties together.
It's bestie vibes.
Yeah. Besties and longtime collaborators.
Yeah, right. That's for sure.
What was the first? Do you remember what's the first like short film you did that wasn't just like a sketch?
It was probably like. I mean, it might have been that one, the robot one, Learning to Walk. I think. I mean.
Oh, really?
I think so. I mean.
Did that one or the Jelly Beans one come out first? You weren't in the other one, but you wrote it.
Yeah. That one, the Learning to Walk, was the one that came out first. And
okay.
Yeah, I feel like I did UCB out here a lot, and so my intro, and then I worked at Funny or Die, so my intro to comedy and even making stuff was very sketch first, because I didn't really do too much like filmmaking before, honestly, moving to LA when I really think about it. Although, you know, like all of us, I made videos as a little kid, so everybody, it was like that sort of thing.
And you did one Young Boy feature.
In my Young Boy feature, yeah. So that was big. I guess, that was big.
Is that that's not findable, is it? It doesn't ever exist out
I don't
public?
think it exists anywhere, This, for the listeners, I did my child actor.
Tell the story.
Well, in my child actor period we were discussing earlier, I acted in a movie that... So the way it went down was that I auditioned for the TV show Zoom, which is a public public TV show. Ben Affleck was on it at one point, but probably a lot of people know what Zoom. Remember Zoom?
Yeah.
And then I got an agent because, I don't know, my mom thought that was something fun for me. She was not like a stage mom by any means, but she was like, oh, you know, because I
you had talent.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody could tell that. And so then somehow...
What does your mom have a job? Does she work?
She's retired now, but she was a doctor. She was she was doing sort of... Yes, she was helping... She was doing a sort of filmmaking of the body. So
to take time out of her doctor job.
Yeah.
Saving lives.
I know, that is true.
To find you an agent.
To drive me to Boston, Yeah.
How far is Boston from where you grew up?
It's like an hour.
What's the drive?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really close.
And she had she worked at a school, like a boarding school, so it was...
Oh, I thought you said aborting for a minute.
No. It was...
Doctor.
Yes. But
an aborting school.
Yeah.
Where children go to get aborted.
Although, she does now in her retirement. She works at an aborting clinic as a volunteer.
That rocks.
She opposes it, but she feels like someone has to do the job. So every day she goes in, she whispers in the folks' ears, like, don't abort your child, like this is murder. But she doesn't anyway.
But here it comes.
So she anyway, the point of the boarding school is she had like slightly more limited hours than what you would think of. Her job was technically part-time.
Okay, I see.
So I got an agent and then auditioned for this movie that was by these two, I believe they were both 23 at the time. People had just graduated from Emory. And truth be told, they're both very successful in our modern era.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, one of them is, and I hope they're listening too, because they're cool and they're still my friends. I'm sure they're probably talking about me on a different podcast right now, but
they're also talking about this movie currently.
But they one of them is in Bumblebee. He plays the stepdad or boyfriend in Bumblebee, the movie. And he also is the hot neighbor who gets pegged in Broad City. And he's done a lot of other stuff. And then the other guy is...
I hope that's what the character's name is.
Yeah.
Hot neighbor who gets pegged.
Well, I don't know Broad City very well, but I think this is like one of the most popular, like...
people know it.
Like, I think it is like kind of an iconic moment in the show. Okay. And then the other one is a writer. He's just like... he just created this new show about a hospital. Maybe you should hire my mom for it. But anyway,
okay, consultant.
But it's like a great TV writer. And it was really fun. I got to be the star of a movie. Look, I'm not going to say I wasn't the star. I was number one on the call sheet. What can I say? I was the star. But I probably wasn't number one on the call sheet, but I was
star among stars.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, ScreenVomit. You're one of a few people who's probably read the IMDb page for this movie, but it seems like you know that the cast was like amazing.
Well, I've heard you talk about it on a different podcast before too.
Yes, yes.
But I did also see the IMDb page. You're correct.
No, it's crazy. They, and this afternoon.
You know what's not on IMDb? You and John Mackey's shorts.
Oh my gosh, we got to fix that. That's going to be the thing. I've been wondering why I haven't been getting jobs that I want to get, and it must be that. So we gotta do that. Yeah, the cast and crew of this movie is insane. I mean, we're talking the guy who created Catfish, Ariel Schulman, and his brother, Neve. We're talking two famous brothers who I think people are pretty fond of their film works. They're named the Safdie.
And now TV show works.
I know. I got to watch that.
The Safdie Mans.
And they were cool as hell. They were so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was cool.
They're probably... How old are they?
I mean,
were they like your age?
They're definitely way younger than I am now. That's for sure. Because I mean they were at NYU. I think they were like, you know, like I said, the people who wrote and directed it were I think 23 or 24, and they were at college. So I imagine they were like 19, 20, 21. I mean, I would have to look back. I mean, it was 2003, so you know we can. One of the fans of the podcast will look up the birthday of
do the math.
Josh Safdie. I don't think that Ben Safdie was there, but he might have come by like one day or two. I mean, he was probably in fucking like he was probably doing his homework. He was probably 17. I don't even know. He's the younger brother, I think.
He is the younger by 2 years. I just looked it up.
He was probably
they're 84 and 86 they were born. So what's the math on that?
Okay, so they were almost
86.
84.
Well, 84 is Josh, so 20 years old.
Yeah, that's
1920.
That's literally that is insane. That is so crazy. And it is so crazy that it was such a concentration of talent. Also the cast was insane. Like it is really kind of cool to think back on that.
And you got cast, so that's got to say something. Among stars.
Look, they asked me if I would cut my hair for the movie. Maybe I told this also on the other podcast that I talked about this. But they asked me if I would cut my hair. I said no. And so it's like that sort of stick-to-itiveness, or I guess I should say sticking to my principles. Something I try to carry forward.
Wait, and how old are you at this time too?
I was 5 years younger than the Safdie bros. I was 13.
Are you at 89?
No, 90.
90.
Yeah. That information is not as easy to find on the internet because I'm not at the Safdie tier, but you know, one day.
I'm going to add it to your Wikipedia after this.
Yes, which also doesn't exist. May never exist. But
I'll add it to your IMDb info.
No, it is so crazy. I can't believe that. It's so cool.
Yeah, that rocks.
Yeah.
I don't remember how we got there now.
I bring it up. I think I think in my defense you said that I was a child actor and I had to
I did say you
dish.
were a child actor.
I had to dish.
You have to dish because that's such a cool story to have.
I know. My mom has a binder of pictures of me with all the cast, but I don't know if I have a...
Really?
Yeah, I should ask her to take pictures of every picture and send them to me. It's not like she has anything to do. She's fucking retired. Yeah, no, I wonder if... I wouldn't be surprised if the Safdies weren't in that because my mom was probably... I feel like I was like every cast member. I definitely have some pictures with Ian Roberts and Todd Barry. I mean, the cast is cool. This was a cool cast. John Benjamin, you know, this was
David Wayne
the Vanguard.
In there?
Yeah, Mr. David Wayne. I feel like I didn't have a picture with him, interestingly. But and then later,
I rubbed backs with him once at a bar.
See,
He was doing a show.
That's awesome. That'll relax. That's true relaxation.
While he was fighting through a crowd of people where every single person was like, "You changed my life.
Really?
You're iconic." Yeah.
So after I was in the movie, I held only one scene with him, and he may have only had one or two scenes in the movie, period. And I saw him in the airport somehow later. We're just like, he was walking through, and I yelled out. I was like, sometimes there's like moments that were so humiliating and embarrassing for you that you like will never forget them, and you can just remember everything about it. But he walked by, and I was like, David Wayne. And he kind of like looked at me and was like sort of confused. And then maybe I like didn't say anything. He clearly didn't recognize me. And then my mom talked to him, but I was too scared to talk to him. This is after
He didn't recognize you, so like you lost your balls.
I thought he was going to be like, John, what the fuck is up, dude? Let's talk.
But when he didn't, you go, I've made a horrible mistake.
Yeah. Also, in that same era, I saw Brian Posehn at an airport with my mom, and I was like, that guy's famous, but I didn't know what from. And my mom went over to him and was like, so my son says you're on television. So funny.
Oh no. That's so mom.
She's very mom.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's great. She's always been supportive, though. Even when she was busy saving lives, being doctor, and being a filmmaker of bodies.
I know. And she worked at this boarding school. You know, the brothers from Arcade Fire went to the boarding school. She's a doctor. I'm like, you've like seen the penis of one of the guys from Arcade Fire. She would never tell me, but but I often think of that.
If she saw that little boy's penis before it became a rock star.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was a teenager's penis, but yeah.
Gotta know what that teen boy's penis is like.
Yeah, it's true. The one that all those songs
She's under
came
HIPAA.
out of. Yeah, right. Yeah.
HIPAA laws, she can't tell you about the penis.
Yeah, sad.
All right, let's get to our movie for today.
Okay.
All right.
It's funny because as someone who's not one of these film guys, it is funny that I got to pick the movie and I picked one that's like really hard. So that's kind of interesting. And I'm not afraid to be
You're not scared at all.
Stupid. Yeah.
You're feeling confident.
I mean, I feel like, look, some PhD is going to be listening to this podcast and he's going to know all, or she or whoever they are is going to know all the things to interpret about this movie. And I won't, but I don't fucking care.
Well, here's the thing.
I was just having a good time. Yeah.
You got me here.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Right. That's right.
And
got the PhD.
First, I don't think anybody's dumb.
Yeah.
I respect everyone's relationship with film, however that may be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so either way, I'm excited to talk to you about it, even if you've never seen a Ruben Östlund movie, which I'm going to find out here in a second if you have or not. And spoiler alert, the movie that we did for today was the 2017 film The Square, which is a Ruben Östlund film. And you picked this, I think, from my list of movies.
Yes, on Letterboxd.
So what drew you to this one?
Shout out Letterboxd.
Shout out Letterboxd.
What's my read of it?
No, what drew you to? Like, why did you pick this out of all the movies?
I just, I feel like, I wanted to watch more movies by this director. I've definitely seen Triangle of Sadness. I think I've seen Force Majeure, but I think I got there late, and then I feel like it's a movie I've like seen like come in to people watching it twice, and so now I'm like, I guess I'll never watch it because I already know everything that happens, and maybe I will watch it someday. I meant to watch it before for this, but I did not.
Force Majeure?
Yeah, but I did not.
Yeah.
But I have seen it.
But you did watch The Square.
The Square I did. And,
okay, good.
And also, it's one of these ones I feel like people think is really good, and I'm just trying to watch good movies. That's my approach.
Yeah. So you just kind of heard of it, and you were like, I'll check that out.
More or less, yeah. Yeah.
So you hadn't fully seen, or you'd seen Triangle of Sadness, but that's the only Ruben Östlund movie you'd seen?
Yeah, and like the last quarter of Force Majeure.
Okay, and the slice of Force Majeure.
Yeah, and Downhill.
You do gotta watch.
I've seen Downhill.
Well, Downhill.
Yeah. No, I haven't. But I haven't, but I should watch that. It's so so interesting when these things happen.
No, I didn't even know that Downhill. So I'm a huge Ruben Östlund fan. I think he is my favorite contemporary filmmaker.
Oh wow, nice.
I love his movies so much, but I didn't. Even that being true, I didn't know Downhill was related to Force Majeure, like basically until I watched it, which was like only a couple months ago.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So all that time I had no idea.
It's so fun. It's just like
it is bad.
You do wonder because these movies are kind of, it's social commentary. That's a big thing for him. They're kind of, I would say, they're pretty talky, right? They're maybe more on the subtle side of things. I mean, I guess Triangle of Sadness and The Square are not subtle, but Force Majeure more so is like a much more like slower paced.
I think Triangle of Sadness, so that's his biggest film, like it's his most mainstream film that reached like the biggest audience, but I think it's such an outlier in his filmography. Like I feel like to me it's so different than any of his other films. Yeah. Even though like it's still, he always is making like some kind of social commentary. He always is doing something kind of twisted, but generally speaking, I kind of feel like that movie is just almost like not even related to the rest of his filmography to me. It's kind of like Yorgos Lanthimos with The Favorite.
Right.
Like I feel the same way. Like that movie is so different from any of his other films. Yeah. It like doesn't even, it's like a different world than his other movies.
My question is like, why did they take this movie that was like smart and decide, oh, we should make the dumb version for the US? Like, it's such an odd instinct for downhill. Yeah, like, I guess it's like that other. Did you ever watch? I've never seen Dinner for Schmucks, but I did watch the French one.
I've never seen
the French one is really funny, and it's just a crazy.
They do this a lot. I feel like it's pretty often that they take like
so
a
weird.
really smart, beautiful foreign film and go, let's do something idiotic with this for
I gotta
American
watch.
audience.
I do want to watch. Also, I even just want to see Julia Louis-Dreyfus. It's Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Will Ferrell, right? In Downhill. Like, I do just want to watch her in a movie, like a broad mainstream comedy.
Yeah. Her performance is good.
It's hysterical. It's the performance of the decade. That's so
she does
funny.
a good job, but she was given very little to work with.
And it's the same inciting incident where a dad flees from an avalanche and his family is like, well, you're a coward.
Basically, yeah.
But it's like it's just more hijinks, basically.
It's about the same. And so Ruben Östlund loves to do these movies where there's like a small decision was made. Sometimes it's in the heat of the moment. Sometimes it's just something offhand and it leads to like a huge consequence. It's sort of like, what's the word for the big snowball coming down the hill?
Oh yeah, an avalanche, right? Or
is that what it is? I'm thinking specifically cartoon style snowball that's little and it gets bigger.
Right.
That's not avalanche, is it?
The listeners are pulling over and shooting themselves.
That's okay. Look, I forget words all the time, and something that happens to me constantly is I have to ask someone what the word is for something very normal.
Yeah, it's called
and this is maybe one of those times.
It's a snow bomb. Everybody knows that.
So he likes to do that in his movies a lot, and we see that in this movie too. Some of these like little decisions where you're like, it's just an offhand whatever, but then they lead to like a huge consequence. But force majeure, that's like the whole thing of the movie is like this in the moment decision that he didn't protect his family
right
when an avalanche was coming for them. Then it like causes this big rift in his marriage.
I love guys. I feel like it's
I love guys.
Well, yeah, when you're writing, you just write what you think is funny. And I feel like it takes a while, well, assuming you're trying to write funny stuff. But I feel like it takes, for me, it has taken years to realize like what the things that I think are funny are just because they keep coming up. And anyway, guys who are pussies, it's definitely weak guys. And also like guys who think they're better than everybody else. I'm like, I guess I've written the 9 millionth thing about a guy who's a fucking pathetic loser but thinks he's better than everyone else. Like, I guess that's just what I think is good. But anyway.
It's working. I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, I guess that's what I think is funny too, because I'm watching your stuff and I'm laughing.
Right. Thank you.
You can't imagine how much time I've spent just laughing.
It's very kind.
I watched Brother Sims again earlier today. I've seen it 45 times.
Oh my gosh.
Laughing.
Shout out to
when it says
Zach.
Darren Biscuit Sims on it, I laugh. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Laughing.
We had a blast doing that. Okay, so...
Sorry, I've interrupted your thought.
No, I forget
12 times.
I forget what we were talking about avalanches and snow bombs and
you were going on a point about how people learn to
I just
write
like
or
these.
something.
I think the point is this pussy dad from Force Majeure. That's right in my zone. That's all I wanted to say. And it's taken me 10 years to
and
say
you
that.
haven't even seen the movie.
Yeah. Weak.
Oh yeah.
But this guy in The Square is kind of interesting. He's kind of weak in certain ways, but he's actually quite strong overall. I mean, I think that scene where his employee has a really bad idea that he should knock on everybody's door and slip a letter in their door, and then the employee won't do it, and he's like, okay, I'll just do it. It's like very different. I mean, it's kind of, and also the sort of inciting incident maybe of this movie, or like the force majeure type avalanche moment, is like when he gets mugged by that, or when he gets mugged for being a good guy, for like trying to be nice. So he's more of a strong guy. So I don't like this movie so much. The guy was ultimately too strong.
He's a strong guy, but his weaknesses are revealed as the movie goes on.
Right.
So he's just not as obviously a himbo.
He's very protective of his cum. He won't let people touch his cum for some reason. In the movie, okay, I don't know.
He's got to protect the boys.
I don't know what.
We're bopping around.
Yeah, I'll stop.
Yeah, so I want to get to these things in more detail, but I think we should kind of introduce some context.
Yes.
Before we get there. Okay, so Ruben Östlund movies, just generally speaking, and this one also included specifically, I think they're always really thick with detail, and so much of them are based on real events. So basically, just about everything that happens in this movie or comes into frame in this movie is based on some real event to some degree.
From his life or just overall?
Sometimes from his life and sometimes just stuff that he knows
He's
happened
an interesting
or
guy.
like heard about. He's very, very like well-read.
He's from the art world, it seems, the actual art world.
For sure. For sure he's from the art world. His earlier films are way more like arty, I guess you would say. But he also does do art. And actually, the square that's in the film, that the film is like about, started as an art piece that he made in real life. First.
I think it was interesting for me. I found that out as well. And the whole movie is kind of a satire of art, museums, whatever, high society. And so I thought it was pretty interesting that the guy he made the thing that he's kind of like, to me, I'm like, oh, this movie's like making fun of art, some kinds of art and people involved in the art world. But I guess it's like, but he was like, he actually made the thing that he's making fun of. It's like, do you like this or not? Like, I don't understand. But anyway.
I think he liked making art, but what he encountered was a lot of stuff in the art world that he didn't like, or a lot of posers, basically. So he encountered a lot of posers.
He's of the I'm better than everyone else school of thought, which I like.
Maybe to some degree. I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. He's awesome, and we know he's listening, so like we don't want to say anything
I'm like
that's going to make him mad.
He has responded to DMs on Instagram.
Really? Okay, hell yeah.
I'm just saying.
All right.
So I don't know. He might see. We don't know.
I'm going to say as many vile things about this guy. By the way, my parents did not like Triangle of Sadness. I recommended it to them, and they texted me both different phones right after. Like, this movie's weird. So I'm like, it's not that weird. I feel like as far as movies go, it
has weird moments, but
it's not that weird.
Ruben, it's not that weird.
Ruben, you're not weird, dude. You're cool.
You're literally so normal. Yeah. So yeah, they made the square in 2014, and even the part in the movie where they have the option to like go left if you don't trust people or go right if you trust people, that was part of their installation initially. And at least one of the real squares, I think there were 4 total, still exists, and they do like a birthday for it every year.
Wow.
So you can find like Swedish YouTube videos of like girls dancing on the square for its birthday.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, it kind of rocks. So whoever walks by the square when someone's in it is supposed to interact with the person inside of it and help them out. So he was trying to get people to be more like aware of their community responsibility, less afraid of like their neighbors. He talks about breaking the bystander effect a lot, where people are scared to act on helping people when they are not specifically called to be the person to help. That kind of came about from his movie Play. You haven't seen Play?
No, I thought he only had 3 of these things. Is that a short?
No, he's got a bunch. No,
jeez.
He has shorts and he has more features.
This guy I thought Force was the first. That's crazy.
Play, Involuntary, and then there's a Swedish named feature that I don't remember the name of that came before. Play's 2011.
This guy's amazing. His achievements put both Alex and I to shame. I know that Alex and I were neck and neck. But now that
Involuntary, I think, is my favorite.
Wow.
It'd probably be between involuntary and force majeure, but I think I'd lean involuntary because it's just a lot. It's more different than like any movie.
Wow.
It's really gorgeous and cool. But Play is based on real events too, and it was like about this group of kids in Sweden who were robbing other children, but like not just robbing them, they were like playing psychological games with them and like making them follow them all around town. It was really crazy, but like it's kids on kids crime, and no adults ever stepped in to help.
Wow.
And they never reached out to any adults to help, even when like they were being beaten up in public or stuff like that. Like no adults ever stepped in. So that kind of like set off this idea in his mind when he was reading through the court files for this series of robberies, which were really insane.
Wow. He's a reader.
He is a reader. Like, how do you even, I don't know, maybe it was like a big news thing in Sweden. I'm not sure. Like, how do you even find that is a thing?
Yeah. Can you imagine being one of those kids and then you get to be in a Ruben movie? It's amazing. From doing crime. It's incredible.
Well, it wasn't like a documentary or anything.
But even your story,
still.
You're like, this was worth it. Or maybe you're a victim of it. You're like, I'm glad it happened to me. The torture from it seems very spooky.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, one of the first things that happens in this movie, the big inciting incident you said, was the robbery, which is like a staged cry for help, I guess, where like a lady is screaming, help me, and then two people get kind of wrangled into being the people who help her, and everyone robs this guy Christian, the main guy. I don't know who does the actual robbing. Is it the lady? Is it the guy who helps her? Is it the guy who's running after her? I'm not sure.
I just know I'm going to fucking find out. I'm going to put him behind bars for life.
Yeah.
Step into the TV.
We're on the case.
Yeah. I'll arrest them.
But that was also based on true events that happened to, hard to say if it was Ruben himself or a friend because I found conflicting articles, but that was real events that some woman ran up and said someone was going to kill her and then robbed him.
Have you ever experienced something like that, a scammer like that? I have.
You have. Tell the story.
Well, I was driving along and I looked at my phone while I was driving. We all do it. And
you were texting and driving. Interesting.
I think I was sending a tweet or doing a tweet.
Tweeting and driving. Okay.
And then I turned right, and then someone pulled up next to me on a moped and said, "You need to go back." I was like, "What?" She was yelling at me through my window. I rolled down my window. I was like, What? She's like, "You need to go back and help the lady that you hit back there." And I was like, I don't, okay, I did look at my phone, but I don't think I hit a lady. I didn't tell her that. But then she was like just riding alongside me in the moped, telling me I hit someone and I need to go back. This was in Hollywood, the town that you were thinking of moving to.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
Just think about it. And then she got...
Crime happens everywhere.
Yeah. She pulled her moped in front of me to stop the car. She took a picture of my license plate and then drove away. And then I pulled over to the side of the street, just kind of caught my breath. And I decided she was scamming me. Look, is it possible I hit someone? I'm pretty sure I didn't. I can't say for 100, but I think I would know.
Wow.
Now I'm confessing to this.
I guess.
Some LAPD cop is like, we got him.
LAPD cops are like, I don't give a fuck. I have better things to think about.
Right. So anyway, I'm pretty sure someone tried to Ruben me, but I'm not like Ruben. I don't fall for this bullshit. So I just drove away.
I did one time, like last year or something, I got rear-ended and we were like in the middle of like a 4-lane road that's like kind of busy. And so he goes, "Hey, can we just like pull over to the side like and deal with this?" And I was like, "Sure." And then he drove off. Does that count?
Wow, interesting.
He drove away.
So he was kind of doing a dumb man scam on you. That wasn't sort of a smart. It was like, just, I'm getting the hell out of here. Wow, that's really interesting.
Well, I figured he would bail. He was like a teen. He didn't have car insurance.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Look, man, if you can't find your car insurance, I'm going to have to call the cops. But I don't want to call the cops.
Yeah.
So if you find your insurance, I'm not gonna. But if you don't, I'm going to have to.
Wow.
Because I don't want to pay to get my bumper fixed.
He's like, I'm going to go get the cops right now. I'm going to go get them and we'll sort this out.
I felt bad. And then I tried to call the non-emergency cop line to report it. And I was on hold for so long that I gave up. And now I just have a bumper that's falling off.
It's crazy. And if you were to drive your car into the square, hopefully a mechanic would come and put it back on. Put the bumper back.
I wonder what the limits are.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever been. I've had my house broken into, but I don't think I've been like.
Jeez, that sucks.
Robbed in any other way that I can remember.
Jeez. See, this is the type of thing we need these things to happen to us so that we can put it into our movies. Need to get robbed.
Oh, I have all kinds of crazy life stories.
Okay, good.
But I don't write though, so
okay.
I'll just have to rely on someday.
Yeah.
A writer listening to me.
Yeah.
So, okay, during the robbery, this lady screaming, basically no one pays attention to her until the one guy finally like breaks free and grabs her and then calls someone else in. And throughout the movie, we find a lot more of these scenarios where there's like some loud thing happening that everyone chooses to ignore, including like the next scene, I think, which is the museum boardroom meeting where they're meeting with the advertising guys. There's a baby crying in the room and they're trying to be serious and they just have to ignore the baby.
I love these ad guys. They're so dumb and funny. They're just like...
I believe they're real ad guys, too.
Really? They did a great job.
They're awesome.
Just tragic. You know, I'm sure I've never really been in a meeting like that with like a confident ad guy. I've worked in a lot of branded content type scenarios, but never one where someone was like, here's how we're going to capture the internet's imagination. And it is it's just funny.
Yeah. And it's hard to do with art. Like, it's one thing if you have a product involved, but your product is an art piece.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about.
They pull it off in the end.
They do pull it off, but at what cost?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking about how to make your art marketable, harmful to the art environment.
Yeah, I know.
Often.
Yeah. It almost like,
especially in film.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because I'm not educated on like actual art.
Right.
Like,
me neither.
Like physical art, whatever you would call that.
Square stuff.
Square business, museum type deals. Yeah. I don't know about that stuff, so maybe it's just as bad. But I know about film, and I see the results.
Yeah.
Tough. So yeah, based on what happened with him getting robbed, he got his phone, wallet, and he thinks cufflinks stolen. He comes up with a scheme to do this ransom note thing with his assistant because they have the Find My iPhone thing on and they know where the phone landed. They come up with the idea to do this ransom note, but since it's in an apartment building, they can't be exactly sure whose apartment it's in. So they do the idea of having to deliver it to every single door. Yeah,
it's a big apocalyptic apartment. Maybe not apocalyptic, it's just very oppressive.
Yeah.
The way that the lights, I was very interested in, I don't know, in Sweden they have different sorts of lights that they turn on and the hallway is dark and kind of looks like you're living in the damn Death Star. I don't know. This is how they do it over there, I guess.
I don't know if it's normal. Well, it definitely was like the poor people part of town.
Right.
Where like the rest of the movie is more like upper class.
Right.
But yeah, the lighting was crazy once
really
they were in the building. Just that, yeah, it's like motion censored. That's scary. I wouldn't want to live in a building where the lights were like that. It seems scary.
I think the movie is called Attack the Block or something, the Block, like the Alien movie.
Oh,
have you seen that?
Sounds familiar. I don't think I've seen it.
It's really good, but yeah, it is called Attack the Block. Same light sensitive lights in that. So if you watch the square and you're like, I like the motion sensitive lights in the hallway of the low
check
income
out
housing.
Attack the Block.
Yeah. It's really good.
It really adds to the tension of what's happening
big time
once they're there too.
I mean, that's why Darth Vader had it on the Death Star, like I said.
He's like more and more scared as he goes through the building of what could happen to him.
This man is so handsome.
He is
I can't imagine anything happening to
his casting was amazing, by the way. Like he's perfect for the role. He's the perfect amount of handsome man.
He's so
tall.
Cool.
He's 6'4". I looked it up.
I know he's too tall.
I was like, why does he look so much larger than everyone around him?
Yeah.
Tall and gorgeously handsome and rich.
Protective of his, what I said earlier, his cum. It's from a scene.
We'll get to the cum.
Okay, yeah.
Even the car ride to the apartment building too, I really like.
Oh yeah, Tesla.
The way that the car ride he's in a Tesla.
Yeah.
But just like the building of the momentum to getting to the apartment building.
Yeah.
I think that's something that Ruben Östlund's really good at, is this like slow build of tension.
Right.
He doesn't cut very often. Almost never, if he can help it. Does he cut camera? It's one shot on one person and he holds it. And I think that just really builds tension really gorgeously. And when they're in the car even, it's mostly just on the driver. And then I think twice they'll do a quick sweep over to the next guy and then sweep back. But that's it. And it just like really builds the scene in such a gorgeous way.
Yeah.
Also interesting, the way that he shoots one shooting day on every single scene and does like somewhere between 30 to 70 takes of every scene.
Jesus, this guy's a psychopath.
Isn't that wild?
He doesn't seem, I mean, I know he's listening, but he doesn't seem like a fun guy to hang out with. I'm just going to say that right now. But
I'm not sure. I've tried not to like listen to him talk too much because
Yeah.
I'm worried that because I love his movies so much, one day he's going to say something and I'm going to have a bad reaction to it and not feel the same.
He's definitely like he's an anti-cancel culture guy, but in like a European way. Like I'm sure.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Nothing's off limits type of guy.
that sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah. But that's okay.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But he's not like, do Europeans get canceled?
Not, not at the rate that they should be.
Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't think of a single like non-American.
Well, people, and then it's like then they like cancel people go there. It's like a safe haven for some of the canceled people. We won't mention who, but some of them go over there.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Yeah,
but that's still like an American who's relocated.
Right.
It's not like a European-born person.
Yeah.
Do Europeans get canceled? Sound off.
I know. They got Matt Rife, and he got canceled. It's like Matt Rife steps out the door and gets canceled, but European Matt Rife, he's probably still doing well.
Free and clear.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So yeah, I try not to listen. I don't know what type of guy he is.
He's definitely 34 times smarter than me, so I'm just like I give him.
Yeah, me too.
I give him all the.
He's very
praise.
Smart, very talented.
Yeah. And
he can do what he wants, I guess.
I'm just glad he had to be on set with this 6'4" giant, so that made him feel maybe a little smaller. Although we don't know his height.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's searchable.
Yeah. I don't
think I've ever seen him standing.
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know? I'm seeing 6 foot.
What the hell?
It is online.
That's not
6
right.
foot, so yeah. He's a little shorter than that, man.
Yeah.
Although 6 to 6'4", like, that's not too huge of a difference.
Yeah.
They're still nearly eye level.
Yeah.
So the ransom note is basically like, return my stuff to the 7-Eleven or what? What does he say? Like, suffer the consequences?
Oh, yeah.
I forget what exactly he says, but he really harps on about the cufflinks, but then once he gets home, does find the cufflinks in his clothes. Okay, so next big scene is the Tourette's scene, I think, where Dominic West is the artist who made like the piles of rocks installation in the museum, and he's trying to have like a really serious interview go on, but he's being constantly interrupted by someone with Tourette's yelling slurs or rude stuff. This was also inspired by a true event that happened in a Swedish theater.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting, fun scene. Not really like no heroes or villains in it, really. Just sort of like, well, what if this happened?
I think it's interesting, like, how the people react to it a little bit, because they're kind of split. Like, most of the audience is kind of like, get this crazy person out of here. And then there's like 1 or 2 voices of reason being like, no, like, listen, he has a disability, like, he can't help it, like, let him live or whatever.
Which would be me, by the way, if I were there, just so you know.
Yeah. You'd be the good guy. You'd be the hero.
I'd be out there. I'd be like,
wait, have you had a bystander situation that you can think of?
No, I think I probably I'll speak up, but I'm not a particularly brave guy. I'm going to say that right now. I'm more closer to the Mr. Force Majeure, but that doesn't mean I'm bad. But no, I think I can't even think of the last time actually I had a situation remotely like that was with friend of the show, Alex.
Yeah.
And it was after a screening of, I think, Dad and Stepdad, the movie.
Dine and DeLong movie. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Dine and DeLong also been on the pod, and so has Anthony Oberbeck.
Nice. Yeah, the movie's really funny. And
Graham Mason, who produced.
Amazing.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. It's so cool that they made that. And it's so funny. But
after this movie.
Yeah, we went to a bar afterwards, and then someone in the bar was being really belligerent, fighting people, and I think Bardia stepped in. So he was the square guy in the situation. And it was like really it was like a serious fight. The guy was like covered in blood, honestly. He was like shirtless. Wow. I don't know if he was unhoused or not, but definitely not entirely well. And so for me, I'm just like, let Bardia sort it out.
I think for me, unless the person is specifically attacking me, which has happened a couple times, I'm usually the guy. I'm stepping out. I'm helping.
That's great. Good for you.
Yeah. I'm normally the guy. I'm taking charge in situations. I have boss energy, though.
Yeah. Not
generally
me.
speaking.
I have employee energy. And I'm happy to support, maybe
You're happy to serve?
I'll buy a Gatorade for whoever helps out. Not the person who needs help, but so the person who helps out can recharge afterwards.
I'm always boss energy. Either I'm taking care of it or I'm telling people what to do. And that's kind of in most situations.
That's amazing.
I'm leader vibes.
Wow. That's great.
For better or for worse, because it's sometimes annoying.
No, that's great.
I think.
That's beautiful. That's amazing.
Anyway, that's my personality.
Yeah. So if anybody sees you, they should not help you. You don't need it. They'll be like, go away.
Unless I'm being specifically attacked.
Yeah, okay.
I one time got followed in a bar by a guy who was trying to puke on me.
Jesus.
And I feel like nothing I could do in that situation.
Oh my Lord.
That was in Dayton, Ohio. Shout out.
Jeez.
This guy just starts following me and his friends are like, no, come over here, go to the bathroom. And he's like, no, I'm going to puke on this girl.
What?
And then just like, I'm like trying to run away from him and he was following me around. He didn't puke on me.
Wow.
What could I have done?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anyway, that's just one example. So Dominic West. Dominic West credited as a co-star in this movie. Like his name is on the DVD. He's in 2 scenes, like barely.
He's a real fine artist.
Who's his fucking agent?
Yeah.
He's an actor. I don't think he's an artist.
Oh, I was sure he was the real deal. That's how good he was in the role.
He's an actor. He's in like 300, I think, and like maybe he's a Northman.
So he's got a good body.
Yeah.
Okay, noted.
Well, he's a big, tall, handsome man.
Wow.
Ruben's type.
Yeah. Ruben would kick Ruben would read me to filth. If I were to go to Ruben and say, man, Ruben, like, sometimes it's just so hard trying to have a career in entertainment. He'd be like, shut up, pussy. Like, why don't you stop being such a little bitch? I'm sure. He would be like, he would read me to filth.
He doesn't really have little guys in his movies.
I don't even, by the way, I'm pretty sure that's not the right application of that term. I'm not.
No, I love it. I hope that you stick with that application.
Ruben would do me to filth, and basically I would be filth after he said whatever he wanted to say to me.
I don't know. I kind of feel like he supports art, and if your heart is in trying to make art, that he would be supportive of it. Which I feel like your heart is in trying to make art.
Yeah, no, he would kick my ass.
But he may also kick your ass. I don't know. I've never seen him with a small boy.
Yeah,
but you're very strong, though. You'd have to show muscles.
Okay.
If you showed muscles, he might feel different.
Yeah, I'll show him that. So.
Because he respects muscle.
Yeah, I'm sure. He's European. So I don't even know. Well, there is like, I don't know. I'm not very traveled, but Swedish people.
You're not very what?
I'm not so well traveled, but Swedish people, my sense is that there's a brusqueness to this culture.
What does brusque mean?
People say what's on their mind. It's not like in the U.S. I learned recently that, in the U.S., it's polite when you pass someone to smile at them. But in Germany, it's like impolite to do that. And I feel like Swedes have a little bit of Germany in them in that sense.
Yeah,
that's you
think so?
I mean,
Wait, have you been to Europe at all? I feel like you have.
I've been to Spain, been to Portugal. Okay. Those are more of the friendlier nations. But,
okay.
No, I don't know. Anyway, just point is me filth to Ruben. But where were we? Okay, so
you feel like he would speak his mind if he encountered you. That's what you're getting
that's
to.
for sure. And he will after this. But yeah, so the Tourette scene, that guy didn't know how to shut the fuck up. No, I'm just kidding.
But you would have been helpful.
I would have been helpful. I would have been like, look, we all know that this guy needs to shut up. He's annoying. No, it was,
you would have joined in. Yeah. Made him feel comfortable.
I wonder what the story is with that actor. I wonder if that man has any affliction. It's kind of a complex role to take on. My guess is probably not, because it would be, if you did have a verbal tick, it would be that much harder to do. Anyway, the guy nailed it.
Especially for 70 takes.
Yeah, just Ruben's like just cool as a cuke behind the camera, putting these people through hell. Evil.
He talks a lot in interviews about how the American actors that are in this, Elizabeth Moss and Dominic West, really, really had trouble with doing that many takes. Yeah,
this guy's a maniac.
Breaks their ass down. So by the end of the day, they like lose their consciousness about the character.
Yeah.
Though, which I think ultimately is maybe good.
I need to discuss Elizabeth Moss's having a monkey. I know that's not for a little while, but...
No, let's get into Elizabeth Moss. She's basically next.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with who she is.
She's like a dumb blonde lady. It seems like is Ruben's attitude.
But she like is an interviewer of some type. Like she's some kind of reporter. She's a little chaotic.
That's a great character, I would say.
She's a great character, and I think she does amazing in this character, I feel like.
I know, she's incredible. I'm watching Mad Men now for the first time, and she's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even care about her quote unquote religion. she's amazing.
Yeah. She does have some problematic in her personal life doing the religion.
Yeah.
Well, just that.
Yeah.
Really. That's about it that I know of.
Yeah.
But, it causes
She's
controversy.
Amazing.
She is such a great actress, though.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I ever saw her in was maybe Girl Interrupted.
I haven't
Did you ever
seen
see that movie?
No.
That's like formative culture for me.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I got to
we go way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, like how, first of all, I haven't watched it in a long time, so I don't know how it holds up at all. Yeah. But also, like, I feel like it's such a girl movie, like a mentally ill girl movie.
Right.
And you seem so like not mentally ill or girl that I don't know how it would hit for you.
Yeah. It'd be like watching, like another language. I'm not even going to try. I don't need that. I don't need that dark shit in my life.
But that's formative culture for me, and that involves Elizabeth Moss. So just to say that we go way back even before Mad Men.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't know she was around back then. That's cool. I didn't know she was on the scene.
She was in, I think her first thing was West Wing.
Jeez.
Like, she goes way back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool. So yeah, she's an interviewer. Mm-hmm. Gets sweet on our guy, on our lead.
Little hearts in the eyes for him.
Yeah.
They go to a party at their castle. Mm-hmm. Well, so the museum is called Ex-Royal, and it used to be the Royal Palace.
And this is a real place, presumably.
I don't think this is a real place.
Oh, okay.
I think this part is fabricated, but it just kind of adds to the thing of it all. Because, well, like they do still have a monarchy. Well, they still have a king and stuff in Sweden, but he's kind of more... doesn't really have political power.
Yeah. He's more of an influencer.
Yeah, basically. An influencer or like a mascot is kind of how they treat him.
Wow.
So I think there still is like a royal palace. I don't know. So I think this part is fictional. It just was like part of their point of it all. Because their party is in this like royal palace that's like historical place that like a lot of people revere or whatever. And then it's just like rich people like smoking inside and like being chaotic to the environment. So it's like kind of part of the whole thing. But so they link up at the party and he opts to smash. But yeah, they go to her apartment and she randomly has a monkey.
It's awesome.
A monkey who does art too.
And she's
like painting.
She's not even living there. She's a visiting. I mean, my sense was she was a visiting journalist. Maybe she's an expat. But I feel like you got to be.
Yeah, my sense was also visiting journalist. But yeah,
you got to be in town for a little bit to be set up with a monkey. That doesn't happen on week one. There's a monkey in there.
Yeah, or like what if she was just like monkey sitting?
So interesting. But in the art world, anything goes, I guess.
Anything can happen. Yeah. The monkey is not really addressed at all, except that he like just is around.
Yeah, he has no consequence to the story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The actor, I forget what his name is now, Klaus or something. Klaes? I don't know. Anyway, he said that the monkey was horrible to work with, and he never wants to work with a monkey again.
I guess there are monkeys in the movie, because later on we get some monkey business.
Oh?
Yeah. But I did love, so anyway, they have sex, and then the guy, and she wants to throw his condom away after and the sex is like really bad, it seems.
The sex is very bad, awkward, stiff. In the wrong ways.
They're just kind of like, just kind of going through the motions, but very strenuous.
Very sweaty. Looks like no pleasure, but a lot of sweat.
Yeah.
Like they're not making a peep, but a lot of sweat is coming off.
And the guy has previously been like, don't have sex, like to himself, I think. He's like, don't have sex with her or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of I don't want to say boys will be boys moment, but he basically, he falls prey to his own male
weenie.
And then they and then she wants to throw the condom away for him, and he won't let her. Which I was watching this scene for a long time. She's like, he thinks she's going to use his sperm to impregnate herself. That was my takeaway.
I believe that's the takeaway.
But for the longest time I was watching it, and I was like, oh, he faked it so that they would stop having sex, and he doesn't want her to find out that he didn't actually ejaculate. But
you can see the boys.
You can see it in there. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Maybe Ruben, the filmmaking, got a little sloppy there because people didn't know what was going on, such as myself. So Ruben might want to revisit that scene.
But it's such an iconic scene because, like, at first it's kind of like innocuous, like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom anyway. Like, let me get that for you. And he's kind of like, that's okay. Like, I'll throw it away. But it just like goes on for so long of their back and forth of let me have it.
And they're kind of like play fighting a little bit. It's really funny.
When she like grabs the condom and pulls it so it like stretches out because he's still holding on to it. Oh my God, that was amazing.
So I guess this supposed to, I mean, if so many of these events are drawn from life, I think Ruben might be a little protective of some of the stuff that he
maybe. I don't think he's married.
Out. Yeah.
I think he's still like kind of a man on the town. Yeah. Or at least, unless he's been recently married, I'm not sure.
Because, my thing is sorry to keep going back to this, but.
No, do it.
It does feel like the scene wants you to know right away why he's doing it. Like, it's just this little weird psychotic, like, leap in logic that I'm like.
Well, I'm not sure, like, at first that it was that deep. Yeah. But, like, the more she, like, begs for the condom, then it becomes that deep.
Right.
Is kind of what I think. Because it becomes, like, so... It becomes really weird funny. That you're like so into taking the condom away.
Yeah.
Like the intensity with which you are set on taking this condom away is strange.
Yeah, it was really funny.
And then once she does take it away, she like skips out of the room too.
Yeah.
Which is
It's a great this is I would say a hilarious sex scene, like really funny.
It's really good, yeah. I guess in one of their takes too, because like I said, they do 30 to 70 takes, he ate the condom and she had to like get it out of him.
What the hell? It's crazy. No one would ever do that. It's weird. This is the problem with actors. They always want to be weird. No, it's funny. Yeah.
And then she causes chaos for him later when she shows up at his job to be like,
oh, yeah.
Have you slept with women? Name names.
I love this.
And that's another scene where like something loud is going on that they're ignoring too.
I love, a guy just trying to screw. And I did, that scene is really funny too. When she's just like, he gets out of it by saying, she's like, I think you have feelings for me and won't leave him alone. And then he gets out of it by saying, yeah, that's true, basically, right? I think he's like to placate her or something like that.
Yeah. Well, she says something like, you wouldn't just sleep with someone like if you didn't mean it, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, totally. Like I totally meant it.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't remember her name. So
it's great.
I feel like it kind of negates what he said.
Yeah.
So he's dealing with his own, he's just trying to placate her to get her to leave him alone.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
I think that's the last we see of her. I don't think we see her again.
Not till the sequel, which is coming soon, I hope. The sequel to this movie. Square 2.
Square 2.
Redemption.
Squared?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he does ultimately get his wallet and phone back in a package at the 7-Eleven as planned, but then later gets another letter at the 7-Eleven saying, like, you accused me of stealing. Now my family thinks I'm a thief. Apologize or I'll make chaos for you. And we do see this agent of chaos show up. And it's this little kid who is so amazing and such a menace. I saw his audition tape. It's part of the bonus features on the Blu-ray.
Oh, wow.
And it's amazing. He rocks. He's such a youngster. And he's so good. A star.
He's great.
And he won't kind of leave them alone. He pops up at first to the assistant who picks up the letter, and then later shows up again at Christian's apartment to make chaos, and won't leave them alone until he calls his parents and apologizes.
I thought it was really funny in this movie that the lead character has 2 daughters, but there's not a single mention of them in the first, I think, like hour and a half of the movie. And then all of a sudden he's just like, gotta pick up my daughters. And the rest of the movie plays out with him and his daughters. It's so funny.
Yeah, I guess it just wasn't his weekend.
Yeah.
It's like interesting to learn about him, like where his moral values are, like throughout the movie too. Like he could be a family man.
Yeah, except
he has daughters.
He would be a family man if he stopped eating all those condoms. Like, it's not going to work out for you.
He stopped eating all the boys.
He has no idea how pregnancy works. He thinks if you eat condoms, then you get pregnant. It's not right.
Yeah. Sex education has failed this man.
Yeah. And in a country with such great public support systems and public programs.
Yeah, it's so
crazy.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
He wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
He was busy porking.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next huge scene, which is like, I think like capital T, the scene, the dinner scene.
Yes.
This is like the scene that people think of when they think of this movie, I think.
Yeah.
It's like the moment.
It's of the 2 monkey scenes. This is probably monkey scene number 1. Monkey power rankings.
1 out of 2.
Yeah. Maybe there's 3 if you see. I think there's another scene with Elizabeth Moss's monkey. So this is 1 out of maybe 3 or 4.
But only 2 monkeys.
Yeah. Monkey 1. Everybody keep up. Monkey number 1 out of 2. Monkey scene number 1 out of 3 or 4. Just write that down because you're going to get a quiz on it later.
So this scene is also based on a real event.
Really?
From 1996. Yeah. There was another Swedish artist or Russian artist in a Swedish exhibition. His name was Oleg Kulik, who performed in a gallery chained next to a sign that said dangerous on it. And he acted like a dog the whole time.
It's so not the same person who's in this scene though, right?
No. This guy's who's in this is an actor.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Great job.
He was cast for his ability to specifically mimic ape behavior. He worked on the Planet of the Apes movies. He did like mocap and movement coaching for Planet of the Apes and a couple other movies too, like Avatar and stuff like that. But Ruben literally Googled actor imitating monkey and just found like YouTube videos of this guy, Terry Notary, who plays the ape guy in this movie.
Wow.
And found videos of him like imitating monkey walks. Basically, you can find it still there on YouTube. And he says even a child could see he was the best guy at imitating an ape.
Classic. That's the most Swedish thing really you could funny. Say. Like, you can't say anything without it sounding extremely harsh. Even a dumb baby would understand that. Okay.
Yeah, basically. So in the original, like, real life event, this guy acted like a dog and then, like, chased and bit people who came too close to him, basically. He was next to a sign that said dangerous on it. So he was kind of like, well, the sign says dangerous. Like, they should have just read the sign, basically. But he was so menacing that they called the cops and got police involved.
Jeez.
And he even attacked other pieces of art that were at the exhibition and, like, destroyed other artwork. Like, he went pretty over the top with it. So in the movie, sort of similar deal. Like, we're at like a big fancy ballroom dinner with like all of Sweden's like top 1% in their like fancy tuxedos and such. They're real actual upper class people from Sweden too that are in this scene.
Because they don't get everything they want already. They also have to be in the Ruben scene. No, this is good torture for them because they had to do 9 billion takes of this.
They shot this scene for 4 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There's like a making of featurette on the Blu-ray.
Wow.
The first day was just blocking with Terry, and then the other 3 days was just like doing it over and over and over again.
Jeez.
It's pretty intense, and they like every time like just change something small.
Jeez.
So they're given the warning that like if they show fear, the animal will sense it and hunt them down. But if they stay still and they don't do anything, they'll be safe in the herd and he'll keep moving. But unfortunately, people don't listen to the warning and they get fucked up.
Yeah. To be fair, if you're afraid and you're asked not to show fear, that's kind of tough. That's an acting challenge. Not everybody can do that. So I don't know. I oppose this ex-royal exhibit.
But some of them did like look him in the eyes.
Yeah.
A cell phone went off.
Right.
Dominic West's character like talks to him, like challenges him.
Oh, I didn't realize that was Dominic West still. Okay, got it.
That's the second scene that he's in this whole movie.
Wow. And this is his second best scene. So it's a one of, for me, keep track. This is the number 2 of 2.
But the monkey guy is so good. Like just the way he can move on those little arm stilt things.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's incredible. He hops up on a table, no problem.
Yeah.
Peak physical form.
I'm looking at these stilt things and I'm like, are these made for this? For people who want to be monkeys? Or do you make
I feel like they gotta be, right?
Yeah, I guess so. And also it's like, wow, it's crazy. You just put those on, you become so monkey.
In the video that he has on YouTube, he does different type of monkey. Oh yeah, he does like a chimpanzee and then he does like a gorilla. So like he has like the different posturings down.
Oh, I did not track that at all. I thought he was just monkey from the moment he stepped in the door.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But nobody like kind of steps in to save all the people that he's antagonizing.
Yeah.
Until the very end. He antagonizes the Dominic West character, basically scares him out of the room.
Yeah.
He kind of runs up to a couple different people and scares them. He gets on the table.
I was fine with all that, and then he was mean to a girl, and I'm like, bro, that is not okay. No, it was pretty mean what he did to that woman. That's why he was violating her personal space.
Yeah.
And look, I know it's just a movie, but kids are gonna see this and they're gonna try to be a monkey. So that's not right.
It was like borderline about to turn into like a sexual assault.
Yeah.
It seemed like.
Yeah.
Before anybody stepped in.
But then they basically kill him, I think, at the end. It does seem like what happens,
basically,
right?
like they come and kick his ass.
Seems like
it cuts away, so we don't really know.
My sense was, because I do think people are yelling like "kill him." I think I'm like, this guy died at the end of this. He's not come out of this alive.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's hard to say. We never see him again, so it's possible. Like, how do you sign up for that?
There's a post-credit scene. And maybe you didn't stick around for the post-credit scene. He's like, and he's like in Spider-Man breaks him out.
Stick around for the post-credit. It's actually a thing. Yeah. Nobody else watches credits, but I feel like you haven't watched the movie until you've watched all the way to the end of the credits.
Right. And you see the Panavision. Yep.
Everyone else wants to leave for the credits. You got to see the credits.
Yep.
But yeah, maybe he dies. We don't know. They eventually whoop his ass, like right before he basically rapes a woman after he's like terrorized multiple people to a extreme degree, pretty much.
And he's probably still welcome in Europe, is my guess. But in the US,
not canceled.
He'd be canceled.
Not canceled at all. And even the museum director guy like tries to break it up, like, okay, that was great, like let's do something else now. He's like not listening to instructions, so he's kind of wild in that way too. Okay, what else is left in this movie? The kid comes back to the apartment, we kind of mentioned, but because he won't leave the man alone, he decides to finally do his apology and tries to call him, but the number doesn't pick up. Then he starts making a video and he's having his like moment of realization within himself, I guess. Like, oh, I probably was like prejudiced against people that live in your part of town, in your building, and I got really scared about it. So he's like coming to terms with like what's going on with him. I don't think he sends that video anywhere though.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure.
We don't get the consequence of that video. He has to have a press conference about, we didn't even mention this, but the video that they used to promote the square, which is like a little homeless blonde toddler with a kitten who explodes.
Yeah.
Kind of rocks, I don't know. And has to resign from his job. So like kind of everything starts crumbling around him. And he does go back to the apartment building to try and find the boy to apologize to him because he is feeling the guilt from it. But it turns out the boy moved away. And that's kind of the end of the movie. The end is inspired. When I first saw the movie, I wasn't crazy about the end, but apparently it's based on a poem. On a Swedish
now
poem
I love
called
it.
Playing Marbles.
Tell me it's based on a poem. I'm sold. I thought... No, I'm just kidding. It's good.
It's about it's a poem called Playing Marbles. I tried to find the poem. I couldn't find it, but it probably has a Swedish title that I don't know how to Google. It's about a boy who has 50 marbles playing against a boy who has 5 marbles. And then he wins all the boy's 5 marbles. And that boy just like kind of has nothing. And so the rich boy is like proud, a little too proud for a while. But then he starts feeling guilty that he left the other boy with nothing. And he wants to find him to apologize. And he can't find him. And then it like goes all the way to his adulthood, and he thinks about that boy, and he just like has this guilt for kind of the rest of his life. And so that is sort of what happens in the film. Like, he's just stuck with the guilt of what he did to that little boy, and then also his daughters have to look at him living with the guilt too.
Right.
So they don't really get any resolution to the situation.
Yeah, maybe he won't involve himself in other people's affairs anymore. I don't know. It's an interesting, like, going back to what happens at the very beginning, where he was a little too helpful to the person who was trying to mug him, or who scammed him and then mugged him. So he kind of started out by being good, but then he did this other thing, that might have put this other kid, made him in trouble. And now what's he gonna do? I don't know. Maybe he'll just not step into this square so much anymore. It's like kind of a mixed message that he ends with.
He's a complicated character because he thinks of himself as someone who does good, who like brings socially important work to his museum. He every once in a while will like give a homeless person money or something like that throughout the movie. But then like he has all these issues on the side, like he's a weird parent.
Right.
He's harassing children. He has like whatever social and racial prejudices against people who might live in the poor people part of town.
Right.
And whatever's going on with like how he treats women. So yeah, he's a complicated character. He's multifaceted.
Yeah.
Contains multitudes.
Yeah. As real people do. People do.
What did you think about the ending?
I honestly don't really remember my immediate reaction to it. I feel like it is kind of it kind of just slows down and then ends, versus ending at some climactic thing. Like you say, he doesn't really get the moment of redemption. But it seemed kind of in line with Ruben, who has maybe, if not a cynical view of things, is certainly not a cheery optimist. So it kind of made sense to me that it wouldn't end with some great victory. Yeah,
I didn't really want it to be victorious, I guess. I don't know how I would have ended
Something
it
a little
otherwise.
louder, maybe. But
yeah, maybe louder.
But I think that's maybe like the kind of, lines up with some of the messages of this, that there's just some interpersonal things are just messy, and that's the way it is. And there's no clean out.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's just like so much tension built throughout the movie, and it has like such a, just like this slow build to like something grander and grander, and like suddenly everything around him is like chaos and falling apart. Like everywhere he goes, he's like has that trouble at the museum. He's got Elizabeth Moss on his tail. He's got monkey situation, PR situation. Like all of a sudden everything's chaotic, loses his job.
Yeah.
And then there's just like this other moment after.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
The point is, I like that we got to see him in the Tesla again. Looking forward to more Tesla scenes.
That's all you wanted.
Yeah. Maybe I'm glad he got out of his job at the museum, where, I mean, he seemed to be good at it, but I don't know if he really seemed to be enjoying it that much. He was kind of going through the motions a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe it's good that maybe he'll work at a different museum. I don't know. But yeah, it seemed like he was about due for something that would jolt him in a new direction.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
And he's coming to some self-reflections too in all this. So ultimately, good for character.
He's still 6'4", he's still
6'4", handsome as all hell.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be all right.
Yeah. Social democratic country where people are happier. No, it's
He'll
good.
be fine.
Yeah.
I guess that's the end of the movie. But one other thing that we didn't mention that I just really liked was the music in this movie.
Yeah.
It's got like a really cool soundtrack, like lots of mouth noises.
Yeah.
It reminded me kind of the Swiss Army Man soundtrack.
I haven't seen
don't know
that.
if you
I
ever
gotta
saw
watch
it.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, I love that movie. That's one of my favorites, but it's divisive. Not everybody likes it.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorites, but it has a really cool soundtrack more than anything.
I liked
lots
that,
of mouth noises.
Yeah, I like that everybody was, you know, let's just say they're not like hips. They're kind of grown up hipsters in the movie, right? They're like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I thought it was fun. All these people are very serious, educated, high-minded, but then they go to the club and it's just like, just cranked up club music. And the guy's just like sweating his ass off, you know. Point is, you can have a PhD and still have fun. I feel like that ultimately is the message of the movie.
I have a friend who has like 7 PhDs and they're like a rocker and they go to clown college now.
Jeez.
They used to work for NASA. They're like literally a astrophysicist.
That's crazy. You know that guy in The Offspring, he has a PhD. He's a good rocker with a PhD.
He like did work for a cure for HIV or something like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Seems like the kids are all right. If the kids will be all right once his medical breakthrough comes out.
Yeah. The main guy in this, also a rocker. He has tunes on YouTube.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Clive's Bang. That's his name. I just looked it up.
Okay.
He's
we'll
playing.
have to pick that up.
He plays something in this. What is that instrument? Like a harpsichord or something?
Can we put his music under the whole episode, maybe? Like, kind of.
I'll get flagged as hell.
Yeah. It's worth it.
Okay, so we're at, I guess, the end. Do you have final thoughts, or like we can score this out of 5?
I guess, you know, final thoughts. There are a lot of laughs, and it seemed like this is a world that this guy was a part of, and that was reflected in the movie. Yeah, I thought it was great. I liked it. Yeah, I feel like it's fun to see 7-Eleven in a foreign country, whether or not it's up close. Mm-hmm. I loved the viral marketing guys who come up with a bad branded sketch to promote the thing. Yeah. Do you want my score? Shall I drop the score?
Drop the score.
I'm going to give it 4 stars.
4 stars, solid.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's my ranking.
All right, yeah. I already kind of spilled the beans that I love Ruben Östlund so much. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I just love his movies. I'm so excited by his movies. Like, they're so thrilling to watch for me. I just eat them up. They're full of detail. They're full of like stuff to know and find out, and that's just really fun for me. And this is a 5-star film for me.
Very nice.
I love it so much. Will you be watching his other films now that you've got a taste?
I mean, not play, because I just don't support kids behaving that way. But maybe some of the others. Yeah, I really thought he only had 3. I had no idea he had 4 of these things.
Lots. And he has shorts. He has shorts
too. This guy's amazing. Yeah, I'll definitely check out some more. I guess I was like, thought I had to watch Force Majeure, but I guess I can just watch these other ones because I already know, like I said, what happens in Force Majeure.
I feel like you should still just like have a solid sit down with Force Majeure, because it's like this, like where there's such like a momentum build to it that like it's a really fun emotional experience.
Okay, all right, I'll watch it.
I think
I'll watch it right now.
Involuntary is my other favorite, but you really can't go wrong, I think.
Okay, hell yeah. All right, I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Now it's time for ScreenVomit. After go.
In this part of the pod, we just talk about whatever else we've been watching lately.
Okay,
so
nice.
What you've been watching? Movies or shows? You kind of mentioned Mad Men.
Mad Men. I saw Godzilla.
The new one? Godzilla -1?
Yeah, I did see Godzilla.
Is that what it's called?
Yep, and it was great.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. I watched After Hours for the first time.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Really good.
Have you seen many other early Martin Scorsese movies?
No, not really.
Because I hadn't either. I just got into them like, I don't know, a year ago or two, like way more recent than most people.
Yeah, that's a big film bro weak spot that I have.
But his early movies, I don't know about his more recent movies, but his early stuff like After Hours.
Yeah. Funny.
It's so good.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Really funny.
Hot take. Martin Scorsese movies.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I watched part of a Mr. Beast video today. I drove a train into a big hole or something like that, or we Train versus pit, train versus giant pit.
Train versus hole.
Yeah, and so essentially, I think he's doing some really interesting stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
Okay, I wrote down a couple of things I watched recently. I watched House of Yes earlier today. House of Yes with Parker Posey. Have you seen this movie?
Never.
Parker Posey, Freddie Prinze Jr., Tori Spelling. I think it's one of my new fave Parker Poseys.
Nice.
It was amazing. It's from like the 90s, but I loved it so much. She's amazing in it.
Wow.
I watched the new Cola Scola thing, Our Home Out West.
Oh, it's so funny. That was awesome.
Yeah. Super funny.
Yeah.
And like every funny person I know is in it too.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Loved that. A short film called Killer by Matt Kasman, who did the Shrek movie that played at my screening.
Nice.
You
Yep.
were at.
Yep.
He has this other short called Killer that I really, really loved.
I should check that out.
It's like about a kid who thinks every time he jacks off, someone's going to die.
Huh.
It rocks. So I guess those are my main
Nice.
things I'm plugging for this week.
Nice.
Also, I'm so glad you got to participate in the screening, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that was great. Yeah. I hadn't seen that in a while. The Learning to Walk robot movie.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to watch with a little
Everyone
crowd.
was laughing.
Yeah.
Including me. I'm the only person who loves Jennifer, I think.
Yeah. It was definitely...
Maybe they didn't catch it.
Yeah, so funny. Yeah, I can't believe we made that thing crazy. Oh, that was great.
Absolutely blackout with anxiety, but I had such a great time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Hell yeah. What you got to plug?
Honestly, not that much. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Yeah, I don't really have that much to plug right now, but maybe someday I will. I'll be back with stuff to plug.
You're working on new stuff. When are you doing are we allowed to spill the beans that you're doing a new short with Mackie?
I think so. Yeah, I think that
you said it at the screening, but I don't know how.
Yes.
Filmmakers are always so secret about what they're doing.
Me and Jon Mackie are making a movie. And yeah, it's gonna be really fun.
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, it should be fun.
He talked about you a lot when he was on the podcast.
He's the best. I love him. I'm actually going to get dinner with him moments after this.
Tell him I said hi.
I will. Yeah, we're going to Musso and Frank's famous location for movies. Yeah, I'm so excited to team up. It's hard. Hard to make a short. You get a little anxious, you get a little scared. You don't want it to be bad.
You get scared?
You just don't want these things to be bad.
After all these years of making things?
Yeah.
You don't have the confidence yet?
Even a guy like me. No, I feel like, there's certain things that I feel 100% confident about, but other things I feel less confident about. So.
Are you going to act in this?
Yeah. I've been dying to get in front of that thing again. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're picking up more acting lately.
I know. My career is heating up at last.
Moments away from being in another feature film with David Wayne.
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, me and David. This time he will not forget me at the airport. He'll know exactly who I am.
That's the plot of the movie, it turns out.
Yeah. That could be good. Pulled from life, like Mr. Ruben. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, that's about it for the show then. So thanks so much for doing this with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I hope the sound quality was okay.
I think it's good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, to Ruben, if you're still listening, you got to read my ass to filth. You got to do it.
I'm going to get him on tape reading your ass to filth, and I'll put it in the post-credits.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one. See ya. I crack this baby open.
What you cracking there? You got a bubbly?
It's something weird from Trader Joe's.
Hell yeah.
Probiotic.
Tangerine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's probiotic.
A doo-doo beverage.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah.
Hoping for some big moves.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. Tasty?
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know why I bought this. I saw someone else buying it.
Oh.
I was like,
Victim
why not?
to marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
You were influenced.
Yep.